Marco is in a lot of pain and he keeps on screaming at Lewis for being a pathetic loser until Lewis cuts him down. Lewis checks his timer, but it is still on 947 hours, indicating that Marco is not fully dead yet. Marco is trash as compared to Turn, but Lewis is sure he will get a lot of time after killing him. Lewis puts some aether in his sword in order to get rid of Marco for good. He then stabs the chest of Marco with his aether-filled sword. For some reason, Marco is still alive and he only lost consciousness. Lewis is about to stab Marco once again, but he stops after hearing a loud roar. An unrealistically huge beast demon pops out of the ground, and it starts heading toward the village of beast hunters. Lewis has no idea about this monstrosity, so he inquires about it. Guilford informs him that it's a monster called Red Bear, and it's the owner of this mountain. He usually lives on the Rocky Mountains, and he never left that place before. At the same time, a monstrous hand attacked Lewis. This monstrous hand belongs to Marco, and he sent Lewis flying off into the distance. Lewis suffered a lot of damage from this punch, and he is thinking that it is impossible. Previously, the arm of Marco was cut off, and his chest was punctured, so it doesn't make sense for him to be alive. His cut-off arm has gone through a transformation, and now it looks like the arm of a stone ape. Marco seems to be gulping up an unknown potion. He then throws the potion away. Marco says how dare a mere random mercenary call him trash. Marco gets a flashback of the past where his face got cut. It turns out his father is the one who inflicted that cut on him, and right now he is in severe pain. Turn says that Marco, you are a trash. You couldn't even block that slow attack. You would have ended up dead if this was a real battlefield. Marco is bleeding from the cut, and he asks his old man if he's crazy or if he's planning to break the head of his own son. Turn tells his son to stop whining and get up. And if he don't wants to get up, then he can just die like a trash. After some years, some random knights under Viscount Ber are calling Marco a trash-like bastard on his back. One of them says that the son of a mere mercenary has become a knight, but they are sure his skills are trash. They further explain that Viscount Ber only took this trash in because his father sold his mercenary allies to him. They keep on mocking him, which makes him angry. After some time, Marco is caught and brought before Viscount Ber for some major offense. It turns out Marco killed both knights because they were bad-mouthing him behind his back, and Viscount Ber asks him why he did that. Marco stays silent, which pisses off the guards, and they urge him to answer the Viscount. They keep on putting pressure on him until he starts speaking. Marco asks Viscount about what have the knights from his family done until now. They all just died off on the battlefield where the name of the Viscount was at risk, and how can people like them judge him? Viscount says that Marco is talking as if it would have been different if he was on the battlefield that day. Marco says that he is sure he is worth more than those knights, because he is strong and he just killed 2 of the knights under the Viscount with his bare hands, which proves his point. Viscount Ber calls him a fool and an arrogant bastard for doing this in order to prove his worth. But he further compliments him by saying that's what a real warrior should be like. After that, Viscount makes Marco the son of Turn, the leader of all knights, under him. After some days, Viscount Ber informs Marco that his father was supposed to be the new leader of knights. Marco asks him if that is the reason why he gave him this position. Viscount Ber says that it is not the only reason, but it turns out Captain Turn died a few days ago. Marco asks him about how his father got killed. Viscount Ber is not sure, but the whole mercenary troop was annihilated except for one man, the soul harvester Lewis. Marco gives off a grin smile as he's getting a lot of benefits thanks to Lewis. Not only Lewis took care of those high-ranked knights, but his father as well. Viscount Ber is a bit skeptical as Marco just heard about the news of his father's death, but he's not sad. Marco says that his father used to say that people would die as trash if they are not strong enough, and now based on what he said, it seems like his father died because he was trash. Plus, Marco has no time to grieve for a trash, and hearing it makes Viscount Ber happy. Viscount Ber gets to the point, and he starts telling him about the big rock they can see from the window. That huge rock symbolizes the monsters that come out of the Black Forest. He further informs Marco that the items obtained during a monster hunt can fetch quite a huge price. Recently, Viscount Ber spent a lot of money on the territorial war, so now he needs a new source of income. But there are pain-in-the-ass rogues camping out in the Black Forest. Marco says that he got it. He just needs to get rid of these rogues. Viscount Ber compliments him for being easy to talk to, and he gives him a potion vial as a small gift. Marco inquires about this unknown potion. Viscount Bear says that it's not something that great, but it will greatly help him if he uses it to fight against a strong opponent. Now, in the present, Marco throws away the vial and he starts running toward Lewis. Marco imbues his stone ape arm with aether. He then attacks Lewis with it, but Lewis blocks it using his sword. The pressure of their aethers is so strong that their surroundings are getting destroyed. While pummeling Lewis, Marco asks him about where did his bravery go. Lewis is now only blocking, and Marco asks him to try and cut his arm just like he did before. Last attack of Marco was too powerful, and it pushed Lewis a bit back. This time, Marco gathers all of his strength to jump toward Lewis. His stone ape hand is radiating a pure red-colored aether. He attacks Lewis with it, which in turn breaks the whole ground. But it turns out his attack got blocked by Guilford. Guilford gathers his strength, and he tells Marco that he is sorry to intervene, but he's in a hurry. The punch was so strong that it made Marco fly away in the air, and his stone ape arm broke as well. Lewis gets up and he thanks Guilford for helping him out, but he could have handled it himself. The tone of Guilford changes, and he tells Lewis that there is no need for thanks. In just a few seconds, Guilford lands a punch filled with aether on Lewis. This in turn knocks out Lewis. Guilford says that he is sorry, but this monstrosity is much more than what a random beast hunter can handle. After that, Viscount Bear's soldiers start running back to inform their lord about it, and Fennel carries the unconscious Lewis to safety. A hunter asks Guilford that Lewis will be mad later on if he finds out what happened here, and maybe he will resent them. Guilford informs them that it isn't a situation where they can ask for help from an outsider, and they are the ones who should take care of this. A horrible disaster is going to occur if such a demonic beast goes out of this forest. Guilford informs his fellow hunters that even if they all get killed, they have to buy as much time as they can to let the citizens escape. Half a century ago, the Chaos God and his army came to invade the continents. Everyone on the continent joined forces against him, and had a big war that would be called the Holy War in the future. In order to avert the invasion, different kind of species gathered and eventually, they won the war. However, in the aftermath of the war, most of the races other than humans became extinct, and soon after, unidentified demonic beasts started to show up all over the continent. The protagonist of the Holy War, Emperor Choisin, ordered the nobles to share the responsibility for the problems caused by the demonic beasts. In the records, it states that numerous knights volunteered to manage the places where demonic beasts show up, but in reality, they were forced to do it by the emperor. At that time, a knight by the name of Guilford stood up, and he asked the emperor that he just said that the nobles should be responsible, but then why is it that young knights are the ones being sacrificed? He asks the emperor, is this really what you want? The emperor stayed silent without answering the question of Guilford. The high priest asked Guilford if he wants to do this mission instead of these young knights. After that, Guilford started living in the forest as a beast hunter, but he regrets nothing. Even if he dies today, he will kill at least one big demonic beast before dying. After that, Guilford and his knights start duking it out with the low-ranking demonic beasts which were running toward their direction. Guilford says that he was kind of expecting it, but the waves of demonic beasts are becoming endless. They have not yet taken care of the low-ranking beasts, and the owner of the mountain is almost upon them. Guilford can feel the unknown disgusting but fierce aura that's coming out of the owner of the mountain. On the other side, it is not as sinister as the giant demonic beast, but he can feel the same aura emitting from the other demonic beasts as well. A pack of werewolf demonic beasts is almost upon him, but he easily rips them apart using his aether-filled fist. After that, he jumps toward a small pack of stone ape beasts. Guilford reignites his fist with aether. He then rips the pack of stone apes beasts to shreds as well. After that, he makes his way to the giant demonic beast. He is now sure of it, that the root cause of the madness of these smaller demonic beasts is this giant demonic beast. Guilford has no idea which type of aura this beast is using, so in order to check it, he punches the beast with a powerful aether punch. In just one punch, the front of his body got destroyed, which exposed a huge red gem in it. Guilford gets closer to his core, and as he was about to destroy it, it starts imitating a big flash of light. This in turn results in a huge explosion that can be seen from miles away. Fennel says that he's not sure what that explosion was for, and he hopes his boss is alright. At the same time, Lewis wakes up from his slumber. He asks Fennel about his current location and where he was taking him. He is still feeling the pain from the punch of Guilford, and he's not sure why would Guilford do that. Fennel is confused as to how Lewis woke up so early, and Lewis asks him if he was thinking that he will be knocked for 4 days like before. Fennel says that he has not much time to explain, so Lewis must listen carefully. He starts explaining that the red giant beast he just saw is called the Red Bear. It harnesses Aether in the magic stone embedded in its chest, and its size is so big that it is considered a disaster rank beast. Guilford is the one who ordered Fennel to escort Lewis out of this forest. Lewis tries to go back and help Guilford, but Fennel tries to stop him. Lewis tells him that they are allies, and he's about to tell him that if he kills a few more low-ranked demonic beasts, he can use his real power. But Fennel begs him to evacuate the people outside the forest, and he orders him to inform the Empire about this disaster. He was about to tell Lewis about the true purpose for the formation of their association, but his hand gets chopped off. His blood gets splattered all over the face of Lewis. There is a hand behind him which looks like the hand of a stone ape beast. This incident leaves Lewis in shock. This hand belongs to Marco, who is slowly transforming into a stone ape beast, and he tells Lewis that it is a shame that Fennel came in his way, or he would have been able to puncture Lewis with that last attack. He flares up while saying that it's the destiny of the weak ones, as their lives only exist as a stepping stone for the strong ones. Lewis catches the dying Fennel. Fennel is still conscious, but he cannot speak much, and he tries to tell Lewis to escape with his last breath. Lewis puts the dying Fennel down, and he tells Marco that he is correct, as the lives of the weak ones exist for the strong ones. He then pulls out his sword, and without wasting any time, he stabs it through the heart of Fennel before he can die down on his own. Marco starts laughing out loud in excitement as he thinks that maybe Lewis is also like him. But before he can say another word, Lewis tells him that he just wants to clarify 2 things. First, he didn't kill Fennel to give him a painless death. Before he can continue on to the next reason, Lewis stabs Marco with his sword. And the second reason is that he don't have to be worried about himself because both of them aren't a match right now. With that being said, Lewis cuts Marco into 2 pieces, and he tells him to not be so sad, as his life will be far more worth using. The aftermath of Lewis' attack looks quite gruesome as Marco has been completely annihilated. Lewis says that he was just like a stone ape, and now he cannot regenerate because his head has been cracked open. The time he got after killing Marco is also equivalent to killing a ton of stone apes. Lewis still has no idea how Marco got the power of monsters, but right now there is something more important he needs to focus on. It seems like the fight against the Red Bear is going in full swing. Poor Fennel wanted to send him off, but it seems like he will have to postpone his wish for some time. With that being said, Lewis starts running toward the location of the Red Bear. He used this skill at the cost of Fennel's life, so he cannot stop right here. On the other front, Guilford got pushed back quite hard. Guilford says that it would have been dangerous if he was a little slower. Now he is wondering if killing this monstrosity is even possible. Red Bear gives out another loud roar. Guilford tells his men to not be afraid and attack him together. All knights rush toward the Red Bear. They attack the Red Bear with their aether-filled attacks. But something is wrong as they cannot feel like they are doing any damage to his body, and its lower body is turning into a slime-like composition. A new type of small worm beast pops out of the skin of Red Bear, and it leaps toward the hunters. The hunters start getting wrecked left and right as more of these worm-type monsters come out of the Red Bear. Guilford shouts at everyone to retreat as the Red Bear is changing his body. The Red Bear is going through a bizarre transformation which is not common for a species. The hunters were trying to escape, but a new horde of worm monsters rushed toward them. They are faster than the hunters and they stand no chance against the worm monsters. Guilford is a veteran knight unlike these hunters, and he already witnessed this phenomena in the last Holy War. He is sure that the strange energy coming out of body of Red Bear is the cause of his abnormal transformation. They cannot win if that big red gem is not broken, so Guilford starts running toward the Red Bear. The worms try to pin him down, but he manages to dodge their attacks. But one of the worms is quite fast, and it manages to scratch the head of Guilford. The worms take this chance to gulp up Guilford in one go, but Guilford is not going down in peace. Guilford uses a powerful aether attack to tear them all apart into 2 pieces. He then does a follow-up attack on the chest of the Red Bear. The last attack was quite powerful and it exposed the gem for the second time, and Guilford needs to act fast as wasting more time will increase the casualties. Guilford attacks the red gem once again with all of his force. His punch is quite powerful and he keeps on pouring all of his aether in this one attack. But after a few seconds, reality hits him hard. It turns out even after using all of his Aether, there is not even a single scratch on the red gem. Plus he's running out of time as the red bear has started regenerating his body. Guilford is not going to give up so easily, and he opens up the regenerating chest with his bare hands. He can't waste any more time or a lot of innocent lives will be lost. Guilford starts hitting the red gem with his Aether-filled head, but no matter how much hard he hits the gem, there seems to be no crack or visible change. Guilford keeps on banging his head against the red gem. He's not afraid of dying here, but there are a lot of villages right at the foot of this mountain and they will be wiped out if Red Bear makes it out of this mountain. All of a sudden, he hears a voice telling him to make less sound. Lewis comes up to him and he thanks him all for the whining, and he could hear him from miles away. Lewis tells Guilford to hold on tight as he's going to blow this monstrosity all up in one go. Lewis uses a skill called Raum Change Weapon, which can change his Raum Battle Dagger into double-sided blade of Raum. This skill consumes 12 hours of life for every single second. Guilford is thinking that maybe he's dreaming as this power is not Aether, but the power of the war god Raum. Without wasting any time, Lewis attacks the red bear with all of his might. The red gem along with the body of the red bear tears into 2 pieces. This attack was so big that it made a big crater on the mountain. The deformed body of Red Bear started to break. The survivors are wondering if their boss Guilford is the one who defeated the Red Bear. Meanwhile, on the other side, Lewis says that there is something he wants to know. He knows well that if he had not came here in time, then Guilford along with the hunters would have perished. But he cannot understand why would Guilford do such a reckless thing as making a last stand with the hunters instead of running away and letting the Viscount handle it. Guilford says that a beast hunter's job is to kill demonic beasts, and why would he let someone else kill such a huge demonic beast? Lewis is satisfied by this answer, but then Guilford asks him why did he return, as Guilford already told him that he had nothing to do with this. Lewis says that he is a hunter, just like him, and why would he let someone else kill such a huge demonic beast? In his mind, Lewis is thinking that killing this demonic beast was totally worth it as he got a lot of lifetime for it. Guilford starts laughing at Lewis for brazenly pretending to be a beast hunter with this shabby ability. Guilford says that Lewis is not a good beast hunter as he just destroyed such a huge demonic beast without leaving any materials behind. Lewis asks him to teach him well so that this same thing doesn't happen again. Guilford says that he will teach him well starting from tomorrow morning, and Lewis says that he will be looking forward to it. But all of a sudden, Lewis falls down to the ground. Guilford asks him if he's okay, and Lewis replies by saying that he's not. Lewis is thinking that this happens every time the War God buff ends, and this time there's something new making a beeping sound. A new notification pops up which informs him that he can no longer use Raum's blessing, and it looks like his plot armor has been nerfed.